Alright. Let's see if Dadcred is okay. See if he broke his hip or something. Fraying threads. Rain's face is a picture of worry. It happened after Alize and I saw the children back to Spragrix. We chanced to meet Thancred there, returning from his mission. He'd been shadowing Elidibus around the realm, only to lose sight of him near the Crystarium. And he was in the middle of telling us where he'd been when he crumbled to the ground. The Chiro-surgeons are looking after him now, with Alphinote standing by, just in case his healing magics are needed. Since I couldn't do anything to help, I thought it best to find you, and the guard at the Edra told me where to look. I see. It cannot have been easy leaving Thancred's side. My thanks for bearing word to us. Come, let us hurry to Spragrix. Don't worry, Dadcred. I'm coming. Okay, Dadcred. Is your hip okay? I fear this bodes ill, and not just for Thancred. Oh, that's right. Thancred was the first one to get pulled into the first. So this is probably their bodies, like, not doing too hot. Green found you then. We had to send the children off earlier than planned, but they understood. It appears our friend has already awakened. For that, at least, we can be thankful. Thancred, shouldn't you be resting? They dragged you here too, did they? My apologies. How do you feel? Embarrassed, but otherwise well enough. I won't be staying overnight. This episode was not the result of any injury I could find. Thancred's ether, however, did show signs of instability, and I did what I could to calm the fluctuations. And all this happened without warning. Crystal Exarch knows that Thancred's been hiding it. Not exactly. You will doubtless recall the time Urianger nearly drowned, and I gallantly went to his rescue. That's right, he was like winded or whatever. When his water walking charm failed, he was tired, and were you when you got back? We were both spent, yes. On account of which you begged us to rest, which, in retrospect, may have been a good idea. The fact is, I've been experiencing regular bouts of lightheadedness ever since, and there was no actual fainting until now. So is she. As Alphinote observed, I have no lingering injuries, and it most assuredly isn't old age. Sure, Dadcred. Which leaves but one likely cause. The link between body and soul has weakened further. Time grows short. We must complete the spirit vessel with all haste. To that end, Brillian, might I trouble you to make a trip to the source? In addition to looking in on our friends' bodies, I would have you consult Kryl about our plan. If she has any concern, we should at least endeavor to address them prior to proceeding. In the meantime, we should be getting back to laying bare Elidibus's plot. Thus far, I have learned this much, that in each of the places he has visited, there have been sightings of suspicious black-clad strangers. Moreover, the coming of these shady individuals has invariably coincided with some manner of misfortune. beasts terrorizing settlements, blight ravaging crops. You know the sort of thing. All of which serves rather conveniently to make Elidibus's call for new heroes reverberate that much more loudly in the hearts of his audience. And you think these black-clad strangers are Ascians? I do, and I fully intend to investigate further, though for that I shall require additional feet on the ground. You can count on mine. Gods know I've been itching to get out there for a while. No, Alize. Mayhap Urianger too can be prevailed upon to join in your efforts. He has already provided copious guidance on the matter of the spirit vessel's construction. It is for Becklug and I to wrestle with the rest. Well, if you can spare the old boy... Wait. Oh, right. Urianger is Elazin, which means he doesn't age as fast as hearers. So I believe he is older than Thancred. Hold on, I want to check that real quick. Urianger is 29. Thancred's like 34, isn't he? Okay, yeah, Thancred's 32. Okay. Okay, back to business. I'll go and give him the good news. You'll do no such thing. However heedless you are of your own well-being, if you care at all for Reen's feelings, you'll stay in bed until you're needed. Alphanode and I will find Urianger. All being well, we will have news to share by the time you return. Safe travels, Brillian. Wait, where am I headed? I wasn't paying attention, sorry. Could you repeat everything you just said? I know you cross the rift all... Oh yeah, that's right. I'm going to the source. I know you cross the rift all the time, but please take care. Lest you misunderstood, I'm not averse to putting my feet up. It's being coddled like a brittle bone. I mean, you're like the only one in the group that's over 30, so... We're gonna treat you like the old man you are, old man. Anyway, let's head on over to the source. Gotta speak to Kryl and Tataru. Let's talk to Becklug. Put your faith in the Exarch, and do try to visit now and again. He is so fond of you all. Let's talk to Tataru. I hope this is his voice. Brilliant! What excellent, awful timing. You see, our friends, they've taken a turn for the worse. Oh, okay. That's kind of what we were gonna say too. Kryl's hardly had a moment's rest these past few days. She didn't want everyone to worry, so we've been keeping it quiet. Oh, but listen to me. I call myself a receptionist, and I haven't even bothered to ask you why you're here. So, they think the spirit vessel will be ready soon? And they want to make sure there's no problems at this end. You'd better talk to Kryl. She's with the others in Dawn's respite. Let's go and see her. Just prepare yourselves, alright? Okay, we can finally actually go in.
Excuse us.
Okay, let's see how bad they really are. This darkness
This
is
way.
really unnerving. I don't care if we're the warrior of darkness. I shouldn't be wearing this mask. You can't see the facial expressions. Oh well.
I would rather you hadn't seen this.
I'm sorry. We have urgent tidings.
Oh, no, I'm not angry with you. On the contrary. I know full well how hard everyone has been searching for a way to return home. And I had hoped to afford you the time you needed. But given our friend's present state, perhaps it was for the best that you came. Stiff and cold, all of them. As if they were made of wax. Barely alive at all. And they had been doing so well. Save for occasional signs of etheric instability, they appeared to be in passable health. Then, quite without warning, things took a turn for the worse. A change for which even Master Matoya could offer no explanation. She could only remind me that the soul is yet an unknown frontier, and that much and more lies beyond our ken. But let's not lose heart just yet. At times like these, it is all the more important that we remain positive. Why? I but this moment succeeded in quelling a fluctuation in Thancred's ether. And while the others have weakened, they have remained relatively stable. I believe I may leave my post for a moment. So come, let me hear your tale outside.
About Thancred. Well then. As you probably noticed, we've put them in night clothes. I know they're not exactly asleep, but it seemed the right thing to do. I've made them some new clothes for when they wake up, so they have to come back, and they will. What news from the first? I see. Work on the spirit vessel proceeds apace, but our friends begin to falter. As they themselves have observed, the link between body and soul has weakened. It's as simple as that. For now, I'm quite able to quell the fluctuations in their ether, but that's only a matter of time. We'll lose them if we don't act soon. So if the Exarch is ready to attempt something, let him attempt it. As for the spirit vessel itself, if we seek to draw upon elegant wisdom, we couldn't do worse than consult an expert in the field. Are we going to pull out young Grahatia to help? And I think I know just the man. Time being against us, it may be best if I go and solicit his aid in person, even if it does mean leaving my patients. I'll just take the guild. We're gonna go meet up with young Grahatia. Let me check how far through 5.3 we are. Okay, we're not quite halfway through. Let's do this one and the next one, hopefully. And then I think that might be all for today. But for now, let's continue. Food for the soul. Judging by her sheepish expression, Tataru has a favor to ask. Don't do it, it's a trap. Brilliant. Could you spare a moment? While Kryl goes and finds this expert of hers, I mean... There is a gift I was hoping to send to our friends in the First. You see... And since we might be waiting a while, I wondered if you wouldn't mind giving me a hand with it. My first attempt turned out well, so now I'm going to make it properly. I'll be in the kitchen at the House of Splendors. Meet me there. Oh, isn't she going to become a cook too? Well, I had better be off too. I shall see you soon, either here or at the house, depending on how our patients are fare in my absence. Well then, let's see what Tataru is literally cooking up. She gonna make some Scion cookies or something? Oh, it's through here, right? Yep, there she is. Oh, yeah, I've been here. And Tataru's got another outfit. The hat. One of the little things I liked about Heaven's Word is for several different, while Tataru was in the inn trying to get information and stuff, there were several different outfits that she changed into, including like a waitress outfit, and she had like two others if you went there during the story. Not necessarily like where you had to go there for the story, but where you had to if you just went there at different parts in the story, she would be wearing different outfits and say different stuff. Anyway, let's see what she's cooking up this time. There you are, Berillion. As I'm sure you've guessed, the gift is a bit of home cooking. Unlike Kryl, I can't do much to help our friends directly, but that doesn't mean I've been idle. No, I've been doing my best for the order, taking on this job and that to keep our coffers full. I've even helped out with Ishgardian Restoration. That's right, I believe Ishgardian Restoration was added with 5.2 or 5.3. Let me see which one it was. Yeah, okay. Ishgardian Restoration was added with 5.1. So adding it in the story like this is fitting. And in the course of all of this, my culinary skills have come quite a bit. So I thought, why not make something for our friends? It's baking in the oven, even as we speak. Shouldn't be long now. I happen to be a bit of a crafter myself, Tataru. There, baked to perfection. Oops, come on. It's bread. I don't know if I'm just in sync with the writers or what. This is the second time this stream where I've like said the exact right dialogue. It's bread. But not just any old bread. This here is old world bread. Archon loaf, right, Archon loaf is a culinarian recipe, an Endwalker culinarian recipe. I know it's used for the Archon burgers recipe. Archon loaf, to be precise. It's what they eat over in Charlian. Oh, that makes sense. That's why it's in Endwalker. Simple fare, I admit, but I thought it would remind our friends of home. If nothing else, Cryle tells me it is a good source of ether, so it should lend them a bit of strength at least. There truly is nothing like the smell of fresh bread from the oven. True. Cryle, and if it isn't Rambaros too. Ooh. Oh, right. I don't remember where he's from, but we've seen him before. I trust you require no introductions either, Berillion. Greetings, my friend. How glad am I to see— is this the guy from the Crystal Tower investigation or whatever? It's been so long since I did that, like literally almost a year ago. I confess, I have a long list of questions to ask you, but I will endeavor to contain my curiosity for the present. I understand our mutual friend is struggling with the application of a certain Allegan technologies. I've been keeping Rambros apprised of events in the First. Suffice it to say, he knows about the Exarch. If anyone alive can provide insight into this matter, it is him and his fellow sons. Loath as I am to disappoint you after such a glowing an endorsement. Memory transference was the sole province of Allegan royalty. Its mechanisms closely guarded secrets. If any record of it remains, we have yet to find it. To wit, I regret that I can offer no solution to your problem. Which begs the question of why I bothered to come here empty-handed as I am. The answer being, rather brazenly, to ask a favor. I would have you relay a message to our comrade. Tell him that we never doubted him. Never doubted that he would achieve all that he said he would. Those of us who remained behind have yet to play our part. But when the time comes, he may rest easy in the knowledge that we will most assuredly do so. And then the tower shall shine once more as a beacon of hope, in this world and beyond. So, tell him that we consider his duty done, and that he should follow his heart now. Forgive me, but do you say this to discourage him from overexerting himself, or to encourage him to hold nothing back? That is for our friend to decide. But either way, I dare say a certain someone will be unimpressed. Well, there you have it, Berillion. If you would be so good to see Rambros's message and Tataru's bread to their intended recipients, along with my report, of course. Okay. Cryle, before I wrap the bread up, would you mind giving it a try, just to make sure everything is as it should be? But of course, I'm always happy to lend my taste buds. True. Me too. Excuse me, Rambros. As a fellow Charlian, may I trouble you for your opinion? Well, I usually have mine with a good old dollop of Rollenberry jam, but I suppose plain is best for sampling purposes. Munch, munch. I see. Oh no, is it that bad? It is indeed, Tataru. Dense and unpleasant, exactly as it should be. Just so, the very taste of hope. As you might expect, our countrymen have amassed a wealth of culinary wisdom from every corner of the world, but our native cuisine is, shall we say, a little lacking. In Charlian, the majorly regarded food as a source of nourishment rather than enjoyment. That sounds so much like a bunch of scholarly nerds. Save for those few who actually research the culinary arts. We pay little heed to the niceties of taste and texture. It was against such gastronomic landscape that what is now called the Archon loaf was born. The creation of an Archon who devoted himself to study of bodily sustenance. In order to maximize its nutritional value, he incorporated copious quantities of pulverized fish and vegetable matter into the dough, all with nary care for those qualities which make bread enjoyable. The rest is a flavor that continues to defy description. Yet, for its many shortcomings, the loaf's nutritional value cannot be denied. And being a damnably convenient way to cater to one's bodily needs, it quickly found an audience among busy scholars. Why, when I was a lad, nigh every meal was a sandwich which made with this very bread and whatever ingredients happened to be on hand. I suspect just about every Archon could say the same. I thought Kryl wasn't an Archon, and same with him. Having been away from home for so long, I thought I might have forgotten the taste, but no, it is all too familiar. Ah, how it takes me back. If there is enough, perhaps you can spare some for the Exarch. He is certain to appreciate it. Oh, there's plenty to go around. I'll be sure to wrap up an extra slice. Brilliant. When you deliver the loaf, please be sure to send everyone my regards. Tell them we're doing everything we can, and that we'll be praying for their safe return until the moment they get back. Well, it sounds like it'll do them good, anyway. And when everything's back to normal, I'll cook something for you too, Brilliant. Gods know you deserve a treat. Just make sure it's not Archon bread. Out of curiosity. I can't spell. Oh, it's Archon loaf. Maybe it is a... Yeah, it's an Archon loaf and it's Endwalker. That's what I thought. Except that it uses Shadowbringers. I know Purple Carrot is Shadowbringers. I think the rest might be Endwalker. Anyway, let's head on back to the Crystarium and give them that loaf. Ah, you are returned. Good, good. There is much to discuss. The others are making their way hither as we speak. Welcome back, my friend. How was your journey? Oh, here's the loaf. By the 12! Archon loaf! However did you come by this? I'd swear it had come straight from Charlian. Rambros said that, did he? His words are very nearly as heavy as the bread, but I appreciate the sentiment. Should you have the chance, you may tell him that he needn't worry. That which I seek to do, I do of my own volition, and with all my heart. In pursuing this path, I fully expect to earn the censure of our friends, and to deserve it, but I shall forge on regardless. Forge on as you yourself did when faced with a similar predicament, so I ask that you have faith in me, in what we do. But we were talking about your journey. Before the others arrive, I would hear how their bodies fare. Well, not good, I tell you what. Oh, and the bread I shall save for later, though It has been many years. I have not forgotten the feats of mastication required to consume it, nor how unconducive they are to conversation. Getting a bit tired. I'm gonna go a bit more though. I want to finish up at least this segment. Or hopefully finish up this segment.
Forgive the delay.
We have visited every region and confirmed the presence of Ascians throughout the realm.
Lest a grave predicament be made to seem hopeless, it should be noted that they are of inferior rank. The black-masked minions who answer to the Red.
Yes, a gaggle of schemers attempting to exploit recent events to sow the seeds of petty conflict. Fortunately, nothing of any great concern has come of their meddling just yet.
We also encountered a number of the Crystarium's former defenders, busily solving this problem and that in a bid to become warriors of light.
Their zeal is to be applauded. 'Tis but a pity I cannot encourage them on their course.
Not knowing Elidibus set them upon it, no. Both the troubles to be solved and the villains to be vanquished are his doing too, like as not. And so, with apologies to the aspiring warriors of light, I believe it best that we deal with the Ascians quickly and quietly.
I quite agree.
But tell us, what news from the source? How fare our bodies?
Well enough, though time is not on our side. I'm sorry, but things have taken a turn for the worst. Yeah, let's just give it to them straight.
Oh dear. Then we must redouble our efforts. Not that we've ever stinted in that regard.
This would seem an appropriate moment to ask about the spirit vessel. Tell me you've made some progress.
We have, as it happens. One moment.
The red stones. Then this doth mean...
For the benefit of all, permit us to explain. As you will recall, using white auracite as our starting point, we fashioned a vessel for mind and memory both. Yet, though it served this purpose admirably, the process of imbuing it with one's complete essence proved a somewhat thornier proposition. Simply put, the memory would not accompany the mind. And so, we looked to the Allegan's mastery of memory transference for a solution.
This approach was not without its own complications, however, relying as it does upon blood, which inanimate objects, notably, do not possess. We duly explored methods of suffusing the vessel with drops of the aforementioned. Alas, our painstaking experimentation succeeded only in making me feel faint, and singularly failed to imbue the crystal with the necessary properties. It was then that an idea occurred to me, namely that we might fuse the vessel not with normal blood, but with my crystallized essence.
You're doing this for our sakes. So far be it from us to complain. But don't think we haven't noticed what's happening to your arm.
It falls well short of offering up my life in exchange for yours, which was your only stipulated prohibition, as I recall. And it is but a small price to pay for delivering you home.
That is what she said.
Assuming it works. We
Well, for
shall soon
plot
know
reasons
if
it will.
this grisly addition will serve as a suitable conduit for the subject's memory. Though not soon enough to warrant your waiting, the test is like to take a while.
Let us be off then. We have Ascians to attend to, among other things.
Forgive me, but I count 6 vessels, and there are only 5 of us.
One is for testing purposes. I will personally use it to see whether the crystal functions as it should.
And if it does, wouldn't that mean that your soul could also return to the source?
Yes. In theory, at least. But there is a distinct difference between your circumstances and mine. While your corporeal forms want for souls, my past self does not. Mayhap our essences would blend, or mayhap they would curdle. There is no telling what might happen.
What's young Grahatia in the Crystal Tower gonna do?
And you'd be willing to take that risk?
I would.
I see.
So he would be able to leave his old man body and potentially fuse with his younger self. That would be really interesting, and that would explain why he's there in Endwalker. Also, obviously, Alizé isn't too happy about that, because it's going to be pretty darn risky. Not like there's a precedent for this. Well then, let's talk to everyone. I, for one, support the Exarch's decision. To be alive is to be driven by a purpose, and few are as driven as him. It's stupid, but I've never really stopped to think about what would happen once the vessels were complete. And now... No, there's no point. I hope the test is successful. Truly. Obviously, she doesn't want Thancred to leave. Sorry, Dadcred. I'm sorry, I know, it was childish to storm off like that. And probably to feel the way I do as well. Pull yourself together, Alizé. When our grandfather first decided to journey to Eorzea, Alizé did not take kindly to my silence on the subject. Don't pretend to understand things you don't, she said. Or rather, shouted. Yeah, that's Alizé. Having oft been the object of her scorn, I am predisposed to sympathize with the Exarch. But I do understand how she feels. Better now than ever I did, certainly. Hast thou a moment, Beryllion? I would speak with thee on the matter of the Exarch's mooted return unto the source. Thou wilt have observed that our friend spake not in certainties, yet if Becklog hath the right of it, 'tis possible to predict the outcome of his plan with some confidence. And it is their assessment that, given the opportunity, the Exarch's soul should successfully merge with that of his younger self. Which is not to say the process is without complications. For one, the Exarch hath been subjected to an additional rejoining, an experience which will have wrought a change in his ethereal composition. As thou, Thiest, didst demonstrate in merging with Ardbert, however, there existeth an affinity twixt like soul, and this doth give us cause to hope. Yet there remaineth one immutable condition upon which success doth hinge. The Exarch must needs recognize his past self as simply that, himself. As our recent travails have demonstrated, memories are essential in the soul. Any discrepancy in the former may feasibly cause the latter to spurn its former flesh. 'Tis A seemingly simple yet complex problem. For nigh on a century, our friend hath striven only to deliver this realm, to deliver thee, and to that singular end did he cast aside his very name, that he might assume the mantle of the Crystal Exarch. Henceforth, none can say what choice our friend will make, but I thought it only right that thou be made aware of these truths. So what Andre is saying is, we got a bunch of maybes.